UBC News Tonight, it's me, Micheal Lukomwa, with Elizabeth Nakakoni. 37 passengers who were aboard a gateway bus under registration number UAU 926U en route to Kabale district from Kampala have this afternoon narrowly escaped death when fire broke out of the bus along Kampala-Masaka Highway in PG district. The accident, which took place at Kampiringisa along Masaka-Kampala Highway, was a result of a mechanical fault, not a blast, as many earlier reports indicated.
This was the scene this Tuesday afternoon as a passenger bus under registration number UAU 926U prematurely abandoned its journey at Kampiringisa along Masaka Road after spitting fires. Managed by Gateway Bus Company, was en route to Kabale district with 37 passengers on board, and all were evacuated injury-free.
Nimbagamba muveyo mpola mpola. Temubabaika kugwa mumenyeke. Nebavaamu mpola mpola ngekyanyoka wano mabega nebagwamu moroka ne kwata omuliro yokka.
But none is injured. They all disembarked without any injury, those who were on board.
As Impiji District Fire Brigade rushed to the scene, there was nothing to save as the carrier was totally burnt to ashes. Samuel Omoji, who was the bus driver, narrates the ordeal.
Moroka nenda wange enyoka. Wendabye moroka nge enyoka mabega nenyimirira. Ngenzo okuvayo kutunulayo nga omuka guweze. Nengezako okukwata ki ekidomola ky'amazzi kizenzikize nebirema nenjivaako.
As police embarks on investigation into the matter, the driver was arrested from the scene to partly facilitate the process.
Kakati mwagala ku anti kutokozesa kifuba. Tokozesa kifuba.
There is no likelihood of anything like a blast or a bomb blast. It is from the mechanical condition of the bus. Yeah. Because no bomb is detected, nothing in connection to a bomb. No, for us we must continue investigating.
The State Minister for Internal Affairs, General David Muhozi, was quick to give an update over the matter in today's parliamentary session.
Of a new bus having been burnt in MPG, and it is scaring enough. I thought the Minister would also advise us whether it is true or just alarming. And that's the information Minister, in relation to bombs.
Can you give us a clarification on that? It was in my communication because I saw it on social media. So you never know, it is just a social media.
No, it isn't, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. There was indeed an incident on Masaka Road at Kamengo, to be exact. A bus caught fire, and the information filtering in at the moment, and not yet complete, is that he developed mechanical conditions which forced the driver to stop. The passengers alighted, fortunately, but it caught fire nevertheless. The fire tenders are on the way, and once the fire is taken out, we shall verify to know the cause, whether it was something not related to the current threat of terrorism.
Although there were mixed reactions, especially from members of the public upon receiving the news of this Kampiringisa bus fire, police has embarked on the investigation to ascertain and get more details on what could have sparked this fire. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
The Uganda Red Cross Society has urged the government of Uganda to provide resources that will enable contagious planning for the Congolese refugees entering Uganda from the troubled DRC. The spokesperson of the Uganda Red Cross Society, Irene Nakasita, says that the organization has been constrained with COVID-19, hence struggling to manage the new wave of refugees.
Following the intense fighting in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, Congolese now seek for rehabilitation and a peaceful environment to settle them. The country has now received over 1,000 Congolese refugees entering through different border points with DRC.
We are not able to establish the exact number of people, but we speak in thousands because by yesterday many uncountable people entered the country. However, at the Nyakabande Transit Center, about 690 people slept there because people were arriving at Bunagana, but the only sleeping place where the people would really sleep is Nyakabande.
The spokesperson, Uganda Red Cross Society, Irene Nakasita, says many of the refugees entering Uganda through Bunagana border are facing challenges of less accommodation and other relief aid items at Nyakabande Transition Center. Apparently, Uganda Red Cross Society is held between a hard surface to manage the status quo due to inadequate resource capacity.
They came through Bunagana border point and there was no shelter, there was nothing. They just now filled up the entire town, scattered. But from the meeting we had with the local district, we agreed that they will find shelter. The nearest shelter in Kisoro is the Nyakabande Transit Center. So that's where they are being moved to. And I said today, the UNHCR has established transport system, at least will help us to move people from Bunagana to Nyakabande.
The society was not prepared at the moment to receive Congolese refugees, and this is coming with a lot of risks, especially with COVID-19. At the moment, no single refugee is tested upon arrival at Bunagana border entry.
There is no modality of screening people who are entering, so you don't know who has probably a bomb or not. Yeah, then too, in terms of the risks, in terms of the health emergencies, you're not so sure who has COVID, who has Ebola, because recently DRC had an outbreak of Ebola. So all these cases are also not yet managed. But then we have many risks. Emergency wash. There is no access to clean and safe water. There are not enough latrines and toilets. There is not enough food, so anything can happen. Lives can get lost under such circumstances.
The biggest percentage so far being women and children. These urge government to allocate resources rather than the society, depending on donors. However, latest information coming in from Red Cross field officials at Bunagana Transit Camp indicates that some of the refugees that had crossed into Uganda are returning back to the DRC after top security officials in the DRC assured them of their safety. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
The United Nations High Commission for Refugees is considering a view of settling refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo across various refugee settlements in the country. The Commissioner, Joel Botru, underscores emergency aid from refugee management partners to manage the situation caused by the unrest in the eastern DRC. This was at the office of the Prime Minister, where Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Hilary Onek, called on refugees whose countries are peaceful to return home.
It is a situation where children are carrying fellow children, women are loaded with merchandise, and humans are fleeing alongside their domestic animals. Intense fighting in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo has caused it. The chairperson Kisoro District Local Government, Abel Bizimana, is puzzled.
I've never seen a people flow like a river inside the country like Uganda and Kisoro.
Joel Botru, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in Uganda, has just returned from Bunagana border.
So yesterday we had around 3,000 in this new entry point, KAZINDA, I think, so 10 kilometers north of Bunagana. And the rest, around 8,000, came through Bunagana.
Whereas the situation on the other side seems calm, emergency aid is needed from development partners.
In fact, as the new arrivals come, we will, as we try to stabilize them either in or around the transit center or reception center, not only will they be tested for COVID and other illnesses and so on, but they will go, and they are undergoing, as we speak, security screening. So
the High Commissioner met Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Engineer Hilary Onek, on the refugee situation.
Some of them were transported or came on their own towards Nyakabande, where we have a transit center, an old one and a new one. So at that stage, as of last night, we had transferred around 400 to the transit center, the new transit center that is operational.
We are working out ways how UN should come in and help us. We changed the settlement pattern to kind of keeping refugees in one confined area, putting up blocks which can keep maybe some family, 10 families or 20 families together.
Engineer Onek wants current refugees in Uganda, whose countries are now peaceful, to return home.
Like those coming from Rwanda, from Burundi, to go back, so that the space they live then can now accommodate other new arrivals.
Current attacks in eastern DRC are attributed to M23 and rebels of the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The joint security meeting of security heads have assured the refugees who fled into Uganda on Sunday of the calm environment after the enemy was repulsed by the DRC government. This comes after security heads from Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo meeting in Kisoro to resolve the issue of refugees who entered into Uganda on Sunday. Thousands of refugees, mostly women and children, fled the M23 rebels on Sunday.
We have also had a meeting with our counterparts across the border, and they have clearly informed us that the situation has normalized in Congo after the enemy was repulsed by the government forces. I just want to call on our people here at the border that our local population should continue cooperating and being helpful to some other asylum seekers because they are still here. Some are still at Nyakavande reception center. Because they were in big numbers, it will take them time to move back.
Nukuvuga ngo tuje kubabwira ngo message tubazaniye nukubabwira ngo mutahe kuko amahoro gabonetse aduwi wari wateye bamaje kumwirukaho ntabwo akiri hariya nukuvuga ngo abaraye bunagana bose bamaje gusubirayo uno buri muntu yamaje gusubira mu rugo rwe nukuvuga ngo nibyo bituzanye kugira ngo umuntu uri kumva ashaka yasubira mu rugo aze.
Still on the refugees who fled to Uganda after a security insurgency broke out in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo are now returning to their home country. This is after Kinshasa-based government announced that the resemblance of the M23 rebel outfit that attempted to cause political instability had been defeated there.
The Sunday clashes between the M23 rebels and the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo forced thousands of Congolese refugees into Uganda. However, the refugees are now returning to their home country after the DRC government announced that the rebels have been defeated. Eli Mate, the Chigezi region police spokesperson, confirms that the security situation in the DRC has returned to normalcy.
The situation at the border Bunagana is relatively calm. This is evidenced by the people, our asylum seekers, who entered the country yesterday and they stayed a night within Bunagana Town Council and now are moving back.
He stressed the need for the Congolese refugees not to stay in Uganda following the silence of the guns and the return of peace in the war-torn Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
We also want to assure and guarantee our people that security is on top of the situation here. Security situation is normal. Everything is under control. What is very necessary is to ensure that we cooperate. If you are told to move this side, don't do it.
Most of the refugees are women and children.
Parliament is to put up a committee, I beg your pardon, in more news. Innovators have called upon government and stakeholders to invest more in the innovation sector of Uganda is to realize its full creative potential. Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Musenero, also highlighted on the need to industrialize the sector if innovators are to achieve their ultimate goals and aims.
The exhibition on the innovation has entered the second day with a call on government to invest more in the sector and set up incubation hubs that will spur the growth.
Aircraft is here. So those are the things that have been made out of our knowledge and the little resources, because we didn't have much from other people. So though what I can appeal to the government of Uganda as like what they are seeing here, what the world is seeing. As you can see, this airplane, it is using the petrol at the moment. But if we can get more resource, more support from outside and government as well, we can make something better for the country.
This panga, so we innovated the other animal forage cutter. Then additionally, we have the groundnut striping machine. Instead of hand plucking, we brought an innovation. It can generate 300 kilograms in an hour.
The Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Musenero, highlights on the need for industrialization in the innovation sector if innovators are to yield much from their creative skills.
Almost many things you'll see here, they are not industrialized. And that's my biggest brain cracker, which keeps me awake. How do I move these things from here into industries? Because otherwise there will remain things for us to see, for us to admire, come here and admire. What I want to see is industries and businesses out of each and every item which is being exhibited here.
The 2021 Science Week focuses on industrializing and commercializing of Ugandan-made products to garner both local and international fame to transform Uganda's economic sustainability.
But we're also going to be focused on the type of innovations because we want to pursue now the President's vision of industrialization, of commercialization of our products from science technology and building businesses as well as transforming the way our people live and do their business.
Dr. Herbert Muchibi from the College of Veterinary Science at Micheal University notes that research ideas die in their initial stage due to a gap between research and general public.
And another one is crossing the bridge between research and the market. That's a big one. So many research projects are dying in the shelves in universities because that bridge is not really facilitated. People are working in isolation, in silos. You find this researcher is having a very good innovation but can be helped by another researcher in another hub. So if we can come up with the connections, we remove the fragmentation in science.
Kampala City was ranked one of the most polluted cities in the world, standing at 150 cubic meters above the recommended 100 by World Health Organization. The innovation of these new electric cars could perhaps be a solution to one of the world's biggest problems. Sadam Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Analysis of police interim documentation findings into the Komamboga suicide bombers availed to the media indicate that police has not arrested any prime suspects linked to assassinations to clone criminals using forensic photographic illustrations. On account of witness testimonies, photographic experts sketch a portrait that could help in the process of investigation. Ivan Kahwa reports that police appeals to the public for any vital information of the portraits released implicating two suspects involved in the bombing of Kurib's pork joint in Komamboga. However, UBC's data analysis in police portraits also seem to contradict evidence of the Komamboga suspects they arraigned in court last week.
Uganda Police, under the Directorate of Forensics, uses descriptions provided by witnesses to come up with graphic illustrations of suspects.
And this is the appearance of two...
This is part of the process to crack down suspects on the run after allegedly committing crime.
So we want to urge the public that if you come across any look-alike, please just inform us on our toll-free numbers that we've shared widely, that is 112 and 999.
Such illustrations have been made public by police in other assassination attacks where prime suspects were on the run. In March 2017, AIGP Andrew Felix Kawesi, the then police spokesperson, was gunned down by unknown assailants riding on motorcycles. His driver and bodyguard were also killed after a rain of bullets showered their principal's Land Cruiser. Police later released graphic illustrations of those believed to have assassinated the slain officers. This has not yielded much results, despite a number of assassinations being executed in a similar style.
I remember in the case of Vaine, there was also a cash reward which was put, which didn't suffice. Then also recently, in the case of one of the ADF rebel collaborators based in the DRC, we thought he was still in Uganda but had crossed back to Beni. That is Sheikh Din Ukenya. There was a cash reward of about 20 million that is still stands, still active. He's never been arrested.
In the move to arrest suspects that used improvised explosive devices to bomb a pork joint in Komamboga, it might be hard to ascertain whether such portraits will yield tangible results basing on previous unsuccessful attempts.
Because this is simply a graphic illustration.
Police spokesperson Fred Enanga argues that the photographic portraits are not 100% accurate but can give clues during investigations.
We expect people to look-alikes can be in their tens or hundreds or so. Until we get the right people, we shall always reward the persons who lead us to the right suspects.
4 photographic experts are being trained under the Directorate of Forensics. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
The Supreme Court has indicated to deliver its judgment on notice in the case where the Attorney General wants court to stay all corruption charges against former principal accountant in the office of the Prime Minister, Godfrey KAZINDA. The Attorney General wants court to quash the Constitutional Court decision when it acquitted Godfrey KAZINDA with charges related to corruption.
In the majority judgment, judges of the Constitutional Court issued a permanent stay of the proceedings against the former principal accountant under the office of the Prime Minister Godfrey KAZINDA before the Anti-Corruption Court and immediately ordered KAZINDA to be discharged, saying the alleged offences bear similar facts. Following the Constitutional Court decision on 7 August 2020, this prompted the Attorney General to appeal against the decision in the Supreme Court. The Attorney General asked court to quash the Constitutional Court decision, citing that the charges against the respondent were totally different from the charges which he was charged with in the Anti-Corruption Court.
That is diversion of funds relating to the peace recovery development plans. My lords, these cases are entirely different.
He also highlighted to court the issue of double jeopardy, as cited by the Constitutional Court, and the respondent in his reply.
My lords, the Trial and Indictment Act and the MCA, that is sections 23(1) and 86(1), and it states, my lords, any offences may be charged together in the same indictment if the offences charged are founded on the same facts or form or are part of a series of offences of a same or similar character.
The respondent, Godfrey KAZINDA, in reply, he strongly opposed the application, citing that if court grants the application, this will be violating his constitutional rights to fair hearing.
The other issue he raised is that they must be similar in character, but that's not the law. The law says similar in character or founded on the same facts. Now, this case law we have attached to show that the same fact on which these cases are founded is being employed in office of the Prime Minister. Yeah, as long as there's a factual origin. That is the definition of being found on the same fact.
After listening to submissions from both sides, court notified to deliver its judgment on notice. The panel, which was led by the Chief Justice Alfonso Munyidolo, also includes Justice Sarah Rach Amok, Justice Pio Awel, Justice Tebatemwe Kirikubinza, Ezekiel Muhanguzi, Justice Percy Knight Tuhaise, and Justice Mike Chibita. Meanwhile, the same court has also indicated to deliver its judgment on notice in the case Bank of Uganda filed against Sulu Pareria and Miller Investments Limited, asking court to quash the orders issued by a court of appeal in regards to costs.
First, my lords, we could not accept because the notice contained an attempt to overturn the decisions of the High Court and the Court of Appeal on costs.
Crane Bank in receivership ended on 20th January 2018. Crane Bank is no longer in the control of Central Bank. It is back to the shareholders. So what they are trying to do is to place, a legal game. They want us as Crane Bank Limited to pay our own cost. But they are no longer in control of the company. The company reverted back to shareholders.
In this case, Bank of Uganda was represented by lawyer Albert Byamugisha.
The appeal shall stand dismissed with cause, except as against any party who has consented, unless the court on the application of the appellant otherwise orders.
Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
The family of the late Desire Mirembe, who was allegedly murdered by her boyfriend Matthew Chirabo in 2015, has appealed to government and security operatives to get involved in this case to compel the accused Chirabo to appear in court to answer the charges against him. This followed summons issued by Mukono High Court to Chirabo to appear before courts, but in vain.
Desire Mirembe, who was a student at Makerere University pursuing a bachelor's degree in medicine, was allegedly murdered by her boyfriend in June 2017, and her body was dumped in a sugarcane plantation in Luzabuyukwe district. The prime suspect in this matter, Matthew Chirabo, who was her boyfriend, was arrested and charged with murder in Jinja Magistrates Court. However, he was later released on bail. Now the deceased's family, led by her father Emmanuel Musoke, is now seeking justice.
Checho chetusaba kubanga taatawe taddanga ngulu fa ababeera naye tarikavalinganga
kuba yantuukirira olunaku lumu najja nagamba nti talina musango teyatta ddala bw'aba teyatta ajje kkooti eramule emmeeme zaffe ziwummule ng'abazadde naye awummule.
They now want security operatives and government to intervene in this matter, saying since the accused was released on bail, is nowhere to be seen.
Tuwanjagidde security agencies zonna, twongera okuwanjagira government ne security agencies zonna okulaba nga bakwata omutemu nga bamuzza mu kooti olunaku olw'enkya.
This is in his confession. Even the money he used fueling the car that transported Desire from Kampala to Lugazi, it was Desire's money. In that video, he clearly shows how he cut Desire Mirembe's neck, where he successfully hid Desire Mirembe's body, and how he drove from Lugazi sugar plantations to Deliverance Church.
Franka Gashumbe, friend to the accused's family, is optimistic that the evidence on record is enough to pin the accused in this matter.
He demonstrated to police officers that the nerves he cut, one of them carries oxygen, another one carries blood. That the moment someone cut those nerves, you cannot survive for 2 minutes. There is no way you can know those veins unless you have a medical background. Now, what evidence do we need? Okay, police can call him a suspect, but for us, he's a murderer.
Although the trial judge of Mukono High Court, Henry Kawesa, issued a criminal summons to the accused to appear in court, since then is nowhere to be seen. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
The Leadership Code Tribunal has encountered a number of challenges, including insufficient resource envelope since its operationalization in July 2020. This was in their annual report for the year 2020-2021, handed over to Honorable Rose Lily Akello, State Minister for Ethics and Integrity, during the Anti-Corruption Interagencies meeting held at the Office of the President, boardroom in Kampala.
The Leadership Code Tribunal was established under Article 235A of the Constitution and operationalized under Section 19A of the Leadership Code Act 2002. Under this Act, all public officials are required to declare lists of their assets and liability as the most effective means of preventing and identifying corrupt officials.
The main objective of creating the Leadership Code Tribunal was to adjudicate on all the civil servants. That is why this law of declaring assets and liabilities was created.
The disclosure system aims to flag up potential conflicts of interest to employees in public offices.
Rules describe how the IGG and the members of the public can approach the tribunal to bring cases where there have been breaches of the Leadership Code Tribunal.
The tribunal, which was established in July 2020, have handed over its first annual report to the State Minister for Ethics and Integrity, Rose Lily Akello, as directed by law.
This Leadership Code Tribunal is created so that it can fight corruption which is in civil service. And mostly this is in civil service, political leaders, all from grassroots. Even if you're a sweeper, you're supposed to declare whatever you have.
The Leadership Code Tribunal holds public leaders accountable to ensure ethical code in public service.
Built networks with other people who are engaged in the anti-corruption sector so that we can find our grounding. You noticed we are the newest kid on the block in terms of anti-corruption. So we spent a lot of time networking with other colleagues, benchmarking other tribunals, and learning and preparing for how we could handle our cases.
The head of the Anti-Corruption Unit, Colonel Idris Nakalema, has applauded the Leadership Code Tribunal for the great strides in its first year of existence.
Some of their cases definitely have something to do with morals, and you know, corruption is a moral issue. So we are looking forward for the continued relationship between all of us in the fight against corruption, because you remember that the Leadership Code Tribunal is the, should I call them the kid on the block? They are the newest that came in, but when we saw their strategic plan, their work plan, we are soon going to have a very vigilant fight against corruption.
The tribunal has been able to lay a good foundation before embarking on adjudication.
And our strategy is more of prevention. We do not want to deal with post-mortem. We want to prevent. And how are we preventing corruption? We are targeting at sensitization and awareness creation.
The Leadership Code Tribunal mandate is to receive, examine, and adjudicate any breaches of Code of Conduct referred to it by the Inspectorate of Government. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
16,496 candidates in 105 nursing and midwifery institutions have started their examinations for the academic year 2021. The principal examiner, Uganda Nursing and Midwifery Examinations Board, Nasiwa Juliet Tresije, has confirmed while the exams are being organized in a phased manner due to the complications brought by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Among the registered 16,496 candidates, 391 are pursuing diploma and 16,105 at certificate program are sitting exams in 100 license examination centers.
Members put in place extra examination security measures to guard against any unforeseen occurrences of malpractice and leakage. We are working in partnership with national security organs to ensure safety and security of examinations.
throughout the examination period.
Due to the complications brought by the COVID-19 pandemic, especially in the academic calendar, these examinations have been conducted in a phased manner, and this is the second batch of exams.
And even when they opened, all of them couldn't come at the same time. They reported differently. These ones reported in October. That's why they are having their examinations now, while the first group reported in August and so had their end of semester examinations in September.
The administration of Mulago Nursing and Midwifery School experienced a constraint in conducting online studies, as many required virtual-like training, especially for practice.
An e-learning platform, a model platform, of which we have been using it and helping them to follow the theoretical sessions, and we managed to download some kind of video in form of practicals which they have been playing during their time.
These examinations are to run for a week and will conclude the academic year of 2021 as per the Uganda Nursing and Midwifery Examinations Board. Abdul Nasili Lukomwa, UBC.
A section of councillors and Chikube women legislator Florence Natumanya have impounded 3 tractors belonging to HOIMA Sugar Limited over increasing accidents in the area. The impounded tractors were in poor mechanical condition.
Chikube councillors have impounded 3 tractors belonging to HOIMA Sugar Company Limited. The impounded tractors lacked reflectors, brake lights, which forced the woman member of parliament to compel a traffic officer. This follows Chikube Town Council councillor Nyakojo Birali, who died in an accident after he rammed into a stationary numberless tractor, Mahindra 9200 model, that was parked by the roadside loaded with sugarcane. MP Natumanya led the councillors and stormed the sugar factory with a petition to HOIMA Sugar Limited administration.
We are not going to be losing our people. You are either going to learn forcefully to live with us or close down.
Natumanya asked police to ensure all company trucks in poor condition are repaired before going on road again. The councillors welcome the MP's support in fighting for the rights of the people of Chikube.
Yumanyira soso mulimo gumukora radio gumukora bomu musindika kura kasandu twala yuge million ogule sandu kono mche kicho tumusingira omuntu
government yalengereho muno kuroda yagema abantu baleme kufuna polio ekeriyeho abantu abanyakwina obulema bati kuruga factory enu yatandikire abantu abanyakwina obulema beyongeire muno habwe ebimotoka byanyu ebimotoka ebibi munne bindi amusole tuse ebijunzire.
HOIMA Sugar Limited is a company which is brought to help in the public, but now there is too much public outcry about the increase.
The agriculture manager, HOIMA Sugar Factory, apologized to the community and promised to cooperate.
We totally disassociate from the statement, if any has been made by anybody. We take responsibility, we apologize if they have made a statement. He is also here, he is
Intervention by leaders for the safety of their people. Very good gesture there. We thank you so much for watching. Let's take a short break. We have business, international and sports after this break.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go.
Everyone is talking about MTN shares. I am Jenny Kafulua Shares, and I am here to show you how you can get them. First, you need a Securities Central Depository account, or SCD account in short, and you can open one right now using MTN Momo. It's free of charge. Just get your phone and your national ID and let me show you how. Now, why do you need an SCD account? Well, because every time you get shares in any company, well, including MTN, your shares are going to be kept in this account. But this is not a bank account, and you don't need to go anywhere to open it. So is your phone and your national ID ready? Good. Let me show you how to open your SCD account. First, dial *165*65# or use my MTN app. Then select option 1 to submit SCD account application. Then enter your full national ID number or NIN. Next, select your preferred stockbroker and then choose option 1 to accept the terms and conditions. Lastly, enter your mobile money PIN and wait for confirmation, which you will receive on SMS. Oh, by the way, stockbrokers are the people authorized to help you buy or sell any listed company shares, so you need to choose one. That's it. Once you have your SCD account, you're ready to start applying for your MTN shares for as low as 100,000 shillings for 500 shares.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Today in history.
John Emil List gunned down his entire family in their Westfield, New Jersey home and disappeared. John List was an outwardly normal and successful father, a Sunday school teacher, and a Boy Scout troop leader. Seemingly out of the blue, List shot his mother Alma, his wife Helen, and 2 of his children, and later shot his elder son.
Introducing Learn From Home Data Bundles. Customized bundles for you and your family to study or work seamlessly from the comfort of your home. Use any of these affordable data bundles to connect to your MiFi routers, laptops, tablets, and smartphones while avoiding unwanted internet exposure and ensuring undivided attention during online classes. Enjoy instant access to Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, and selected educational websites. Dial *175# to buy your Learn From Home bundle today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Terms and conditions apply.
Kagano twalekedde ekyatulese tuzze tukalanga enfunda eziwerako ddala eno yego TV Super eyabakaguje njagala wekkaanyi ewatali kwemamaaza olwo tuba tusimbudde nego TV Super dupa wawawa era nga bakutuusyako ekigo ekyabakabejja abasajja eŋŋwaŋŋuli kwogata ne busineema obujjudde omuhabati ku $5,015 wawawa soka bulaza weefunye ekirungo kya Go TV Super ekijjudde obulungi ove mu baaje.
Raising voices.
Like other fathers across Uganda, I'm standing up to say no to violence against children. I commit to give my children a violence-free childhood. As fathers, we can make Uganda safer for our children. I promise to speak out when I see violence.
In this time of COVID, what is your promise to the children of Uganda? Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
The Uganda Cranes national football team soars higher yet again to qualify for the much-anticipated World Cup in Qatar 2022 with a game against Kenya. Support our boys from the comfort of your home with friends and family as Uganda takes on Kenya on 11th November at St. Mary's Chitenda Stadium starting 4 p.m. Uganda Cranes Paka Qatar with Airtel, the official sponsor of the Uganda Cranes football team.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Deposit money onto your Airtel Money account. Reactivate your Airtel Money account with a deposit of a minimum of 1,000 shillings and get 10 minutes free Airtel to Airtel calls valid for 24 hours. Offers applicable for a one-time transaction. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
UBC Business News tonight. The Korean International Cooperation Agency, KOREA, has pledged to the Directorate of Industrial Training and other technical, vocational and educational training subsectors to develop short modular courses and capacity building for instructors in Uganda. The pledge follows the initial construction of Ntinda Vocational Training Institute by KOREA at a tune of $5.2 million with equipped and trained manpower.
The Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Korea, Choi Young-moon, who is in Uganda for a 2-day working visit, has conducted a tour of Ntinda Vocational Training Institute, which was supported by the Korean government through KOREA. Ntinda Vocational Training Institute, constructed between 2014 to 2018, offers certificates in electrical installation, fashion and garments design, automotive mechanics, welding and fabrication, plumbing and short modular courses. Minister Choi Young-moon, accompanied by the Ambassador of Korea to Uganda, Ha Byung-cho, was taken around the premises by the Director, Higher Technical Vocational and Education Training, Dr. Jane Ega-Okou, accompanied by the Minister of Education officials.
There are so many programs here. We are training so many youth, and so many people have already benefited from the programs that we have at this institution.
They are coming to inspect what we have done as KOREA. You know, we had a Korean project, KOREA Phase 1, which constructed Ntinda Vocational, equipped it, we trained the managers and we trained the instructors. So they are coming to see what we have done to pave a way for other projects.
In another development, the Mayor of Chira Municipality, Julius Mutebi Nsobuga, also toured Ntinda Vocational Training Institute. Like the development partner, he also hailed the administrators of the institute for the conducive learning environment suitable for learners.
We are pretty much impressed with what we have seen inside here, apart from the beautiful buildings, of course, but the level of skills training that we have seen inside here, we are very, very impressed, and we can't wait enough to start selling this concept here of vocational training outside to the communities all around us and within ourselves. And we are very much happy for the Korean government and the government of Uganda for that partnership, from which we hopefully will be benefiting as Chira municipality as well.
Korean government is to support capacity building for industry, demand-based TVET in Uganda with $7 million.
A delegation from Tanzania's transport and logistics sector are in Uganda on a mission to boost trade ties and increase export and import traffic through the Central Corridor. Led by Eric Benedict Hamisi, the new Director General of Tanzania Ports Authority has visited some of their local clients who are utilizing the Dar es Salaam port.
The principal objective of the meeting between Uganda's and Tanzania's top officials in the transport and logistics sector is to lay strategies geared at ensuring the smooth and seamless movement of import and export traffic.
We have a number of improvements that have been done in the Central Corridor, and we have a massive investment that have been done in our Dar es Salaam port. And we are now able to handle a sizable cargo. We have installed capacity to handle roughly 30 million tons per year right now. And both containerized cargo and general cargo.
And a lot more is in the pipeline to ensure that the port and the TRC and the other stakeholders improve their services, because as a customer, your interest is low transport cost and efficiency. That is all what we are all geared to.
All the entities involved recognize the need of service providers and stakeholders to operate jointly for efficient handling of goods shipped through the Dar es Salaam port to Kampala and from Kampala to Mwanza through the multimodal Central Corridor route.
We have started railing fuel, about say 6 million liters of fuel per month from Dar es Salaam to Kampala. For all this period we have railed this fuel, we've not had a single derailment, a single capsizement. So it shows how effective and efficient this route is.
We are going to make you very busy, which is good for the East African community, which is very good for regional trade, which is very good for trading even beyond our borders of the East African community. I'm very certain we have a number of farmers gearing up so much to add value and export coffee, beverages, minerals, name it.
The delegation, comprising of officials from Tanzania Ports Authority, the Central Corridor Transit Transport Facilitation Agency, Tanzania Private Sector, the Tanzania Marine Services Company and the Tanzania Railway Corporation toured the Roofings Rolling Mills plant at the Namamve Industrial Park. Currently, it takes at least 4 days for cargo to leave the port of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania to the Port Bell in Kampala, both on rail and water. The high-level trade and business delegation from Tanzania comes at a time when the Central Corridor route is attracting significant cargo traffic. Dennis Igoa for UBC News in Kampala.
State Minister for Lands, Mayanja Samuel, has advised the architects to follow up their construction plans until the buildings are completed to reduce on the disasters of collapsing buildings in the city. He also advised government to involve, the architects advised government to involve them in the making of plans which will give good artistic impressions of developing cities.
Our country. Ladies and gentlemen, the ministry has also identified the real estate bill as a key legislation to be fast-tracked to pave way for the rules and regulations that are key in professionalizing the real estate subsector. Lastly, I would like to once again thank
because to move forward progressively for a better built environment that is healthy, very safe and habitable for every Ugandan, everyone needs to understand who we are, what part we have to play, how we come into the picture, and even for them to know how they can reach out to us. But also, of course, we acknowledge the fact that we need to be more proactive and also step out, and this is part of that process.
You know, designing their buildings, yet actually the architect is the head of the consultant team with any building project. So there is that confusion, and then also what we call as quacks, non-architects practicing architecture. There are so many problems that spring from this, and that is why we have so many collapsing buildings. Well, of course, it comes down to the site, which again brings me to another problem, the fact that people think we stop at design, and we are not supposed to be on the construction, and yet we are meant to be there, because if we're not there, I mean, everything that we've been seeing happening around the country, collapsing buildings, unfortunately, lives being...
Investors in the Kasese Industrial Park want peace in the region to entice investors from elsewhere into the area. This was at the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of Metu Jongtong Bus Industries in the district.
The government is taking the responsibility of leveling the site 100%.
President Museveni's intervention to create jobs for Uganda youth is being released with several industrial parks established in the country. In Kasese district, Metu Zhongton bus industry will employ over 3,000 people at the commencement of the project.
We shall create more than 3,000 jobs here. And also, we know this will have a multiplier effect in the economy of Kasese.
Still need more investors, more industries. The confusion that is always in this district is because of redundant youth. So we want this industry to take off immediately. They employ some.
The director, Metu Zhongtong Bus Industries, Metu Katabazi, says this will only be released if the people of Kasese maintain peace.
Let us consolidate and maintain this peace so that more investors will come to this region.
State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyang, wants land procured in the industrial park with the current 213 acres already taken by investors. Minister Kabyang and that for Works and Transport, Musa Echweru, officiated the groundbreaking ceremony.
I would like therefore to request you, since the president has sent you, you go and inform him. The land now has been given out. We are now waiting for investors to kickstart, and now we need more land.
Now that peace has returned to the Rwenzori, and the peace that we see here appears durable.
The district chairperson, Erifaz Muhinda, warned the people of Kasese not to vandalize the construction equipment.
Make sure that their property, their equipment, or whatever is secure. Don't vandalize anything.
And we expect this work to take 2 months.
Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
Civil society is concerned about the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill of 2021, which was laid before Parliament on the 27th of September by Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. The bill contains 4 clauses that seek to allow the Uganda National Oil Company to retain a portion of the proceeds from the sale of petroleum accruing from government's state participating interests in the production sharing agreements to meet government of Uganda's and the company's financial obligations in the tariff and transportation agreement.
To being abused. What is this law saying is that call everything and anything petroleum revenue except crude oil. So the oil that we are going to transport through the pipeline is not going to be considered as petroleum revenue. Between me and you, I don't know what is going to be called at a later date.
Our national company in these circumstances most likely will be confidential. The money that will be spent will also be confidential. So we as Ugandans, how will we ever participate in these processes? How will we ever get to know? How will we ever benefit from access to some of this information?
Notwithstanding that, we are saying, fine, we know UNOC is a commercial arm of government. We know UNOC must meet its tariff obligations and other obligations. As such, it might actually require that it spends the money at source. However, we are saying that it must have approved budgets by Parliament throughout the appropriation process.
Orient Bank Uganda has rebranded into I&M Bank Uganda Limited after a successful acquisition of 90% shares by the Nairobi-based I&M Financial Group of companies. Bank of Uganda has assured the public in the ongoing rebrands and restructuring within the commercial banks as being determined by the market forces of demand and supply.
The rebranding of the Orient Bank Uganda into I&M is the latest step in an operations overhaul which has been ongoing for the last 1 year. It has been reached after I&M Group of companies confirmed ownership of 90% shares in formerly known Orient Bank.
That we will achieve all of these because as a bank, we are intentional in our efforts to offer every customer seamless banking experience.
After receiving the regulatory approval from Bank of Uganda, I&M Bank Uganda Limited is committing to strategize to meet the demands of the Uganda financial market.
The I&M Group is on a transformation journey of its own, and through its IMARA 2.0 strategy, it has placed digitization as the key enabler for business growth in both the personal and the micro, small, and mid-sized enterprise banking sector segments.
With the ongoing rebrands and selling of commercial banks, Bank of Uganda has assured the public not to get worried, as these being normal changes brought by the market forces.
It is a good thing. It means that the institutions are now basically either refocusing themselves or asking themselves the hard questions in terms of the kind of business they want to do, what kind of coverage they want to provide, and therefore make sure that their branding and their naming is aligned to the business model. As for the mergers and acquisitions and entry and exit, in any competitive market, in actual fact, I believe it's a sign of reasonably good competition when you have entry and exit of participants in the market.
The ongoing innovations in the financial sector being brought by the fourth industrial revolution has compelled the banking sector to adopt new technologies, especially financial digital platforms, to diversify their reach to the public. Abdul Nasile Lukomwa for UBC.
Uganda has started its quest at the African Netball Cup with a resounding 77-29 victory over Tanzania. The nine-nation championship is hosted in Namibia.
Uganda's She Cranes has beaten Tanzania 77-29 in the opening game at the African Netball Championships in Namibia. Uganda led from start to end, winning the first quarter 20-7 before going into halftime at 42-14. By the end of the third quarter, the She Cranes led 60-21 and capitalized on that till the end, much to the applause of head coach Fred Mugerwa.
That the majority of my players were here for the other bench championship, which means they are now in the competition mode, unlike the Tanzanians who came for these championships. However, the new players that we left behind who joined us during the last days of the other championships have proved to me that they are good. They can also perform. That whenever we make a substitution, at least they can fit in the shoes of those persons that they have substituted. So I think that we have a stronger team.
Mugerwa started with Shafi Nalwanja, Joan Nampungu, Liliana Gio, Ruth Meme, Nora Lunkuse, Irene Eyaru and Stella Oyela, but gave opportunity to all, including Anisha Mohammed.
Today I'm grateful that I played my first game. It's not been easy, I've been down for a full week, so it kind of touches you mentally, but I am improving and I'm looking forward to improving in every game.
In the other fixture of the day, South Africa edged Zimbabwe 78-27. The She Cranes return to action tomorrow against Zambia at this single round robin championship that increases ranking points.
That brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight. Let's have a relook at the top stories.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Parliament to set up a committee to investigate alleged 50 billion COVID-19 vaccine manufacturing funds. Police is investigating Kabale-bound gateway bus that caught fire. Uganda Red Cross constrained with resources to cater for refugees from DR Congo. As Ethiopia beat Uganda 3-2 to lift the Sekafa Under-20 Women Championship.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
We thank you so much for watching. That is all we had for you tonight. My name is Micheal Lukomwa. With Elizabeth Nakakoni and the whole team here, wish you the best of the night. Let's catch you in our other programs. Bye-bye.